Picture this. Someone looks you dead in the eye and tells you that you did an incredible job. You don't feel pride. Instead, your stomach drops. You immediately deflect. Oh, it was nothing, you say. Or, I had a lot of help. Most people think this is just humility. That is not what happens. That sudden crushing awkwardness is not modesty. It is a harsh psychological burden, an ancient survival reflex firing in real time. Today, we decode the hidden architecture of praise. So, what is actually happening inside your head when a compliment makes you want to disappear? Let's zoom in on three painfully common moments. Scenario 1. You are sitting in a Tuesday morning staff meeting. Your boss suddenly stops, points at you, and tells the entire room that your recent project was a masterpiece. Your heart rate spikes. You immediately stare down at your notebook, desperately wishing the floor would swallow you whole. Scenario 2. You show up to a dinner wearing a new jacket. A friend gasps and says, "You look incredible in that." You don't smile, you instantly say, I found it in the back of my closet. It is super old." Scenario 3. A stranger tells you that you have a beautiful voice. You physically recoil, nervously laugh, and frantically change the subject. In every single one of these moments, your brain is treating a positive social signal as an incoming missile. But why do we actively fight against feeling good? The answer lies in a strange psychological craving for predictability. In 1992, researchers Swan, Wenslaff, Krull, and Pelham discovered a terrifying glitch in human cognition. They found that individuals with negative self-views actively prefer negative feedback over positive feedback. Let that sink in. Your brain would rather be told you are flawed than be told you are exceptional. Why? Because the negative feedback confirms your existing self-concept. It provides a sense of psychological coherence. If you secretly believe you are barely holding it together, a compliment threatens that reality. It forces your brain to ask a dangerous question. If I am actually this good, what else about my reality is wrong? It shatters the mirror you've been looking into your whole life. And the brain hates broken mirrors. To understand this, we have to look at the brain's internal accounting system. When you hear praise, you expect a hit of dopamine. But if you secretly struggle with imposter syndrome, praise triggers the amygdala instead, the brain's threat detection center. In 2017, researchers Kill Ibach and Holmes discovered exactly why this happens. They found that individuals with lower self-esteem experience intense anxiety when receiving compliments. Why? Because the positive praise violently conflicts with their established negative self-views. Neuroscience calls this cognitive dissonance. Imagine your brain like an old computer opening one. Tabs at once. The system freezes because the new data, the compliment, contradicts the core programming. But where did this core programming come from? The truth is, your self-esteem was never designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you alive. In the year 2000, psychologists Leary and Baumeister proposed a groundbreaking idea, the sociometer theory. They proved that self-esteem operates as an evolutionary sociometer, a constant subconscious radar monitoring your social inclusion and relational value to the tribe. 50,000 years ago. If the tribe didn't value you, you were left behind in the snow. You died. So your brain evolved a hyper-vigilant system to track exactly where you stand. But here is the scariest part. Standing out at the very top of the hierarchy is just as dangerous as falling to the bottom. If you accept a compliment with pure pride, you elevate your status. An elevated status attracts predators. We tend to think of human evolution as a constant climb to the top of the food chain. We picture the ultimate alpha beating their chest on a summit. That is a myth. For 95% of human history, surviving meant blending in small hunter-gatherer bands. Radical inequality was a lethal threat to the entire group. If one person became too powerful or hoarded too much success, the tribe destabilized. In 2017, researchers Ramachandran and Jalal exposed the evolutionary function of this dynamic. They argued that envy and jealousy evolved specifically to maintain egalitarianism in these small bands, to keep everyone on exactly the same level. If you stood out, the tribe would literally cut you down to size, sometimes through gossip, sometimes through exile, and sometimes through murder. And this wasn't just a mild social preference. Evolutionary psychologists Hill and Buss detailed this in 2008. They revealed that envy is an evolved adaptation for resource competition. When someone else achieves higher status, it triggers a primal urge in the group to inflict costs on that person, to penalize them for shining too brightly. So when your boss praises you in front of your peers today, your conscious mind hears, "Good job," but your ancestral brain hears, "You have just been marked as a target." It senses the invisible crosshairs of tribal envy locking onto your back. This is why the discomfort of praise feels so intensely physical. The spike in cortisol, the sudden heat in your cheeks, your nervous system is literally preparing for a social attack. You deflect the compliment to signal to the tribe. I am not a threat to you. Please do not banish me to the wilderness. In 2010, researchers Van de Ven, Zeelenberg, and Pieters observed this dark side of success. They found that when people experience an elevation in status, they immediately anticipate malicious envy from others. To survive, they engage in preemptive appeasement behaviors, like aggressively deflecting praise to avoid group resentment. You aren't being modest. You are tossing a piece of raw meat to the wolves so they don't bite your hand. You are subconsciously protecting yourself from the tribe's jealousy. This evolutionary baggage creates two massive psychological traps in our modern lives. Trap 1, the automatic downgrade. Someone compliments your outfit and you immediately point out that it was on sale. You are stripping the value from yourself before anyone else can take it away. Trap 2, a debt of expectation. When someone tells you that you are brilliant, your brain registers a new, terrifying baseline. If I am brilliant today, I am not allowed to make a mistake tomorrow. Praise suddenly feels like a heavy chain of future expectations. The result, exhaustion. Boom. You spend more energy managing other people's perceptions of your success than enjoying the success itself. But listen to me closely. You are not broken. You are simply running a highly sensitive, highly adaptive survival script. Your discomfort is proof of your deep social intelligence. Your brain possesses an advanced theory of mind, constantly calculating the emotional states of those around you. But you no longer live in a prehistoric tribe. You do not need to shrink to survive. So, how do we rewrite this ancient code? The secret is not forcing yourself to suddenly believe you are perfect. Toxic positivity will just make your amygdala panic harder. Instead, we have to sneak the praise past your brain's security system. In 2017, the same team who studied self-esteem and compliments unlocked a behavioral loophole. They realized that people with low self-esteem panic because they interpret praise abstractly. If someone says, "You are a genius," your brain hears, "You are fundamentally superior to everyone else," which instantly triggers the threat response. But the researchers found a hack, shifting to a concrete mindset. When subjects were taught to focus purely on the specific, microscopic details of the compliment, rather than the broad, abstract meaning, they were suddenly able to accept the positive feedback without anxiety. Instead of hearing, "I am a genius," you train your brain to hear, "I formatted this spreadsheet very efficiently." The brain doesn't view a well-formatted spreadsheet as a tribal threat. It is just a neutral fact. By shrinking the scale of the praise, you bypass the cognitive dissonance entirely. But there is a second, even deeper layer to this rewrite. It is about anchoring your identity to something stronger than external validation. In 2014, psychologists Cohen and Sherman published a landmark paper in the Annual Review of Psychology. They explored a concept called self-affirmation theory. They discovered that reflecting on your core personal values protects your overarching sense of self-integrity. What does that actually mean? It means that if you know exactly who you are, if your internal foundation is solid, external words stop feeling dangerous. When you remind yourself that you are a person who values hard work, honesty, or kindness, a compliment stops being a terrifying elevation in status. It just becomes extra data. Your brain stops treating a kind word like a loaded weapon because your core integrity is already untouchable. You don't need the tribe to keep you small to feel safe. You can finally just exist in the exact shape and size that you are. You can stand in the spotlight without waiting for a spear to hit your back. The praise is just a reflection of the work you've already done. It is not a trap, it is just the truth. Principle 1, strategic pause. When the compliment hits, your default mode network will scream at you to deflect. Ignore it, count to 2. Let the cognitive dissonance burn for just a second. Principle 2, the closed loop. Stop offering excuses. Stop downgrading. Say exactly 2 words, "Thank you." And then close your mouth. It will feel excruciating the first 5 times. Your amygdala will flash red, warning you of imminent social exile. But when the exile never comes, the brain learns a new truth. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to be seen as competent without apologizing for it. The tribe is not coming to tear you down. Your depth, your hypervigilance, your empathy, these are gifts. But it is time to stop letting them act as your prison. You are not alone in this. And the discomfort you feel when someone praises you isn't a flaw in who you are. It is just an old instinct. And now it is one you can finally see clearly.